Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This video is about hedge ratio. The hedge ratio is basically the ratio of forward position to underlying asset. Now, when we hedge a position by investing in two positively correlated securities that have similar price movement, the investor usually takes opposite position in each uh, financial asset in an attempt to reduce the risk of holding just one of the securities. And there is a correlation between quantity and price. The quantity a firm produces and sell may vary with the prices of inputs as well as output. Now, if we represent uh, S for price and Q for quantity, then our unhedged revenue would be equal to S multiplied by Q. Very simple, means price multiplied by quantity. And then our hedged revenue would be this one, unhedged revenue minus H multiplied by S minus F, where F is forward price and S is the spot price, and H basically gives the number of contracts that we will go forward to get this hedge. Now, what is hedge ratio and how it is calculated? Hedge ratio is basically the correlation between SQ and S multiplied by standard deviation of SQ divided by standard deviation of S. And I have already explained that what is SQ. SQ is basically unhedged revenue, while S is price and Q is for quantity. And in Excel, it is very much easy to get this hedge ratio. But most of the time in exam or in quizzes, we will have to do the calculation manually. So as in hedge ratio, we need correlation as well as standard deviation. So what is the formula for correlation? It is computational formula that we can use this one, and summation xy minus summation x into summation y divided by standard deviation of x multiplied by standard deviation of y. And because we want to check the variability in the revenue, whether with the help of hedge ratio it is reduced or not, and definitely optimal while using optimal hedge ratio, the variability in the revenue should be reduced. And the variability is just to calculate standard deviation. So this is again the computation formula to calculate standard deviation, summation x square by n minus summation x by n whole square. Now let's start. We have the data. S, we have four different prices, and then we are producing quantity 1.5, 0.8, 1.6. Now this quantity, all of these different quantities has an equal chance of occurrence. So we calculate average quantity with the help of probability because we have four quantities and each quantity has an equal chance. So we have 25% probability for each quantity. To get the average or expected quantity, we just multiply this quantity with probability value, and then we will add all these and just sum it. So our average quantity is 0.975. So we will check the hedge revenue and its variability while using this average quantity in our H, that is 0.975. Here I'm writing 0.975. So first of all, we will calculate this Y, that is unhedged revenue, just multiplying price with quantity. Then calculate this one. For example, we have these number of contracts multiplied by spot price minus forward price. We assume that our forward price is 2.5. And then just fix it, this price, F4, and then copy it down. Now, for example, our hedge revenue would be this one, SQ, minus this one. Now, first of all, we will calculate the variability of this hedge revenue, and this can be calculated with the help of a simple standard deviation. This one, we use this formula. Now, we have these values. Just sum it and then take its square power 2. We are just doing manual calculation of standard deviation. For standard deviation, we have first we calculate variance, that is summation x square divided by n minus summation x divided by 4 whole square. And just we will take its under root power 0.5. Now we'll check the standard deviation of this hedge revenue is 0.91, but here we take average number of quantities, the average number of contracts. Now this hedge ratio will tell us that what should be number of contracts, and it would be the optimal contract, and by using those contracts definitely we can reduce the variability in hedge revenue. Now, how we can get this hedge ratio? We know that the formula for hedge ratio is correlation between SQ and S, and then standard deviation of SQ divided by standard deviation of S. So to get correlation, we use this formula because we are doing calculation manually. Now, first we will take the X value. Here, as X value means prices, and then we will take revenue, that is S, and Q, that is represented by Y. Now, by taking these two values, because in correlation, we need three columns, X, Y, then we need X square, and then we need Y square, part 2. And just copy it down. You will have to do all this calculation manually with the help of calculator. And just sum all these 5 columns so that we can calculate correlation coefficient manually. Now, first we calculate numerator. Now, in numerator, we have n summation xy, 4 multiplied by this xy, minus summation x multiplied by summation y. So it is our numerator. Then for denominator, first we calculate this one, and then second one, and summation y square. Now for d1, we have n summation x square, this one, minus summation x whole square, part 2. And for summation minus summation y square, 4 multiplied by summation y square minus summation y whole square, part 2. So this is our D2. Now, to get this T1, multiply these two and then take under root. We are multiplying this one, then this one, and we will take its under root so that we have this denominator, this one, and summation x square minus, and so on. Now, to get first one, row, means correlation between y and x, or correlation between xu and s, divide this numerator that we have calculated in first step, and then denominator. So 0.76 is correlation coefficient between these two. And then we calculate standard deviation of SQ. Here is SQ, this one. Now to calculate standard deviation, we use this formula, n summation x square. Again, here we have n, sorry, summation x square. Now this is y column basically, summation y square by n minus summation x, means here summation y, because we have y variable where we want to calculate standard deviation, divided by 4 power 2, and then take its under root power 0.5. That is 1.22. Now we will calculate standard deviation of x. Here I have also mentioned standard deviation of y. Now standard deviation x. We will repeat this formula again, that we summation x square. Here we have summation x square by 4 minus summation x divided by 4 whole square part 2, and then definitely we will take its variance and we'll take its under root, so that we can get this one, power 0.5. Now what would be hedge ratio? Hedge ratio is a correlation between SQ and S multiplied by standard deviation of SQ divided by standard deviation of Y. So 1.85 our hedge ratio. So with the help of this hedge ratio, or even we can get this hedge ratio with the help of beta. Now we have already calculated this numerator and denominator as well. So just we have the numerator is same. You can check it in correlation that we have same numerator and in beta. It's very simple. Just take this numerator divided by this D1. We have all calculated as n summation x minus 1 as a D1 divided by this. So we have the same answer with the help of beta. We have calculated this one. Now we use these number of contacts as 1.85. So again, we will repeat the calculation, and then after calculating hedge ratio by using 1.85 million contacts as a hedge that comes from hedge ratio. So here again, we have this H, just fix it, multiplied by S minus forward price is 2.5, and then SQ, here we have already calculated SQ, that is unhedged revenue minus this hedged revenue with number of contracts, and just copy it down. The last column is hedged revenue by using optimal ratio. Now we have these number 3.575, 1.4. Now again, we will check its standard deviation. Now the first standard deviation, just I want to copy it. That was 0.91. I am copying here. And now we check whether it is reduced or not. We will have to calculate again this one, and just because we have the format, and you will have to do it manually, and just take this hedge revenue with optimal hedge ratio. And here we have calculated the standard, that is 0.79. You can see that it is reduced significantly. So this is all about hedge ratio. All this is basically manual calculation. Thank you very much for watching this video.